Stop Scrolling, Part 8, series on how I help you make money with Pokemon cards, whether or not you know what or who Eevee is. Never mind. Everybody knows who Eevee is. Let's get into it. We're looking at Scarlet Violet Twilight Masquerade today, a set that came out in May. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. This set has been really solid since it came out. The Greninja, super strong, top chase. But then this Eevee is seeing a big push right now. This is a $50 card in October, $60 card in December. Now we're looking at $85 sales. So, do with that info what you will, even if you're just, making a raw play on this one. I don't know. I mean, are we seeing another run up like a Magikarp where this thing's going to triple in price? I don't know. But the first thing I wanted to show off, I'm not going to call this one of the plays in the video, but $300, $730, just something to be aware of. I don't think you're going to find many of these that are 10 caliber in the wild at this point, because it's just too big of a card and too popular of a card, so everybody who gets one grades it. But just wanted to at least highlight it there. Hey, maybe you pulled it, you didn't realize it was that big of a card. Well, it is. Looking at our first play here, it is the Eevee. The caveat I'll say on this Eevee is I'd like to see you be, purchasing this raw around $70 to $75, $85, $90. Doesn't leave a ton. We'll show receipts on this. Couple of weaker sales recently, but before that, very, very strong sales, even above that 228 number. So because of that, I think it's a really strong play. It's also extremely liquid, guys. Everybody wants this card. This card sells all the time in a 10. So even if you're taking, less of a profit on your play there with that card, it's going to sell so quick that it's worth it. You turn card into cash real quick with that one. Carmine, Waifu, SIR here. Think's a solid play. If you can get it in the low 60s, high 50s, even better. But 174 in a 10, and then your 9s. What I like here is if you can get this at 60, your 9, you're not losing much, if anything, depending on where you're selling and what kind of fees are wrapped around that. eBay is going to crush you with fees. I think I don't sell on TCG Player, but I think they crush you with fees. Whatnot crushes you with fees. So again, if you can join those Facebook groups, the Pokemon Facebook groups, not just Facebook Marketplace, that's local, but Facebook groups that are at least all across the country, it's a great place to do it. Perrin here, another one. We'll actually, have the other piece of this card a little bit later in the video. But again, 61 to 178. And again, your 9s aren't crushing you. Maybe you're not even losing money on your 9s, depending on, what you get the card for and so on. Going to swipe down a bit further here. Again, get down to the more accessible plays for those with the smaller bankrolls. 11 to 15. I like this play in the $10, $11 range if you're getting them raw. In the $15 range, you're really starting to eat into it, especially where your 9s are going to start to hurt you if you're paying 15 to 16 for the raw card here. But again, if you can get 5 or 6 of these in the $10 range, totally worth it, worth the play. But again, make sure they're centered. Make sure there's no whitening, all that type typical stuff, and so on. Growlithe here, I think, is a solid play. Again, where the 9s aren't going to kill you. If you can get this card sub 10, maybe you get 10 copies for $8 each. You're in great shape. You're 10xing your raw value on your 10s, and you're barely losing money on your 9s. Again, that's factoring in the fact that you're selling it either locally or through a Facebook group where you're not paying eBay fees and things like that. So just keep that in mind. That's always something to be thinking of. eBay, you're looking at 13% fees plus or minus some promotion fees, things like that. Infernape, really, really good play here as well, except for the fact that the 9, is the 9 does hurt you here. I know a lot of people like to comment, you get 1 9, you get crushed, and I've been standing up for my plays. This one, I agree. The 9 will hurt you. You need to have a majority 10s on that card there. We'll look at some other ones that are kind of borderline. Pinsir, very much borderline. The 9s are going to kill you here. 9s are going to kill you on this one, but for $6 and a $50 10, not too bad. $8 and a almost $50 10, it's close, it's borderline. But again, overall, I think the Eevee, the two waifus up top, those are key plays. The Growlithe's a solid play. So I would stick to those initially here. But let's check those receipts on the Eevee. And here we are checking out these receipts for our Eevee illustration rare. Like I said, the last two sales on this have been weaker, so hopefully the raw price isn't going up and then the 10 price is coming down. I don't know. I guess we'll see what the raw price spiking over the last few days will do. But before that, we see 250, 250, 250, 230, 250, 225, 250, 250. So again, this is a card that sells a lot, which is why I like this play. It's very liquid. You get those 10s, you move them quick, you're on to the next investment, if you will. So, Pokemon card investing isn't always cut and dry. It's about finding cards that people want and getting the ones where the 10 pays you enough to deal with the risk. Stone Mill Hobby, guys. Drop a follow. Peace. StoneMillHobby.com. Later.